All right. So guy takes 10 more damage. He is looking severely injured, as injured as his halfling ally is now.
Who should now be swarmed by our other little.
Yeah. So I think that's actually like they're going on the NPC turn, right? So I'm actually considering them thugs as well because it's basically what they are, and they just swarm tactic. So there's you had like 10 in total, Jericho. Do you want to like split them up between these two particular ones that are close by? There's also still the big fleshy guy to deal with. So he's also prone and knocked over. So how do you want to? If you have 10, how do you want to split them up?
Let's not even bother with splitting. Let's just have them all gang up on the flesh construct while it's down.
Cool. All right, so I'm just gonna roll. I'm gonna roll a bunch of quick attacks here. It's gonna be 20 attacks. Bear with me.
Why?
Because it's amazing.
Fuck.
You could just.
Nope. Let him do it.
You could just roll a d20 and say that many hit.
He's gone too far.
Oh, we got crits.
I've got 3 crits in there at the very least. Okay, it's already too far. All right, so let me bust out my calculator, just like real for a hot minute here. So it's not particularly hard to hit them. So let's see what we got here. An 18 is a hit. Yeah, so 4. An 18's a hit. It's a hit. It's a hit. Let's see if they can just coup de grace this guy, yeah? Oh, we got a couple crits in there. 12. I'm not doing math on stream, I promise. Plus 7, plus 3, plus 9, plus 14. 14 does hit. 3 plus
I'm just more amazed
plus...
at the use of an actual physical calculator.
I'm actually, I'm using it. Important to get these all correct, man. Also, this is just going to be for the lulz as well. I mean,
because I'm at like over 70 something at this point. So
4 plus 5 plus
70 what?
11 plus.
Actually, it might be more like 80.
7 plus. Oh no, it's more than that.
90, 90, yeah.
114,
100 and...
I got 122.
Okay, yeah, I was getting there.
So, yeah, the citizens they just roll through and they just create a circle, and they just start bashing this thing in. And actually, let me check that. That might just kill him. Hold on. Oh yeah, 120 damage is plenty. They just brutalize this thing.
Fucking savage.
And just tear it absolutely to pieces.
God, I love it.
Yeah, and I think like this thing is stupid and hasn't received an order, right? So I think it's just kind of sitting there like looking at them. Like they just like are beating it into pieces, and then finally it just like kind of collapses and is a hideous mess all on the ground. But yeah, the flesh creature is no longer a threat.
Wonderful.
So now I gotta make 2 more wisdom saving throws against your spirit thingies there, Jericho.
Oh yeah, you gonna roll damage again?
Yeah, please. Might be higher this time.
Wouldn't be hard, but no, it is not.
Oh, but that one.
Okay. So it is wisdom saving throw, right? Or is it wisdom? Okay. So the halfling fails spectacularly, and the necro shaman fails. Okay. Well, so they both take the 10 damage, and they are within a single blow now. Easily. Both of them. They were both at about the same amount of health. So
fantastic. It's Daniela's turn.
Equivalently dealt with. Daniela already went, unfortunately.
She went before them.
So it is.
She led them up.
it is their turn, so they're gonna get to at least respond once to this onslaught of blows. I think we see the halfling like stand up, and she like screeches like, "No! What have you done?" And enraged, she looks at the mob. She's going to let loose. Oh goodness, what is she going to do? Oh yeah, she's gonna let loose, man. She's not holding back. They killed her. They killed her pet. So.
Oh my.
He is going to. She's standing like right next to him, basically. So in front of her, she pulls down her hood, and you see her. She pulls out some hair off of her head and throws it into the wind, and then like hisses all over it, and the hair kind of dissolves into the smoky substance, and it drifts towards and settles over these, and they all begin coughing, and I'll be killed.
Oh, Jay.
Oh.
We're in Peps, mate.
Oh.
5d8 poison damage.
So, they're villagers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 20-foot radius sphere. And Jericho, you're kind of caught within this as well, because if you're within 15 feet of her, and she casts it on them, and they're in between you, and I think that her friend as well is caught in this, and Daniela's caught in this as well. I think everybody is involved there.
Kind of wishing I had taken Counterspell instead of Dispel, but...
Yeah, you have no idea how many times I felt that.
Yeah, she is, she's not playing around, killed her pet, man.
Hey, Brian, that's a big old nope.
So...
Alright. Con saves for everybody?
Yeah, con saves for everybody. So if you want to roll for Daniela there,
Yeah. Oh, but we get the extra conservatorship.
Yep.
Yep, correct.
4.
Yep, you get plus a d4.
Including them, right?
Holy shit, Jericho.
Okay.
I don't know if that's gonna help though. Fuck. Even if you get the +4, damn.
I've absorbed the bad luck for everybody else. You're welcome.
This is her buddy. He passes. Okay. Good.
Hey Jericho, is this the first time you've actually gotten hit or have actually taken damage in like, oh, I don't know,
Jericho's taken some damage in this since he's been reintroduced.
Yeah. Jericho's gotten roughed up. It was Arkady who just considered damaged passe.
Yeah, correct.
No, this is damage. Yes, this is thing other people receive. Yes, I have heard of this.
So Daniela also is bound to fail, even if she
100%
got a d4.
Mm-hmm.
And her friend only takes half the damage. It was only 22. Okay, so he's actually still alive. But I think like he's like what in the fuck are you doing? And I think with that, what spell is he gonna cast in this particular instance?
Sorry, hang on. Daniela rolled the 10 there?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got Bardic though.
Bardic Inspiration, yeah.
I forgot about that.
She could roll.
Stack them up, the D4 and the D8.
If you roll a D4 and a D8, she might pass. Correct.
Odds are pretty good.
Odds are pretty good.
Okay, here's the D4. Okay. All right. Here's the D8.
Yeah. It's gonna be a pass no matter what, even if you're rolling.
Yeah, there you go. I mean,
cool.
I'll roll it anyway, just cause.
So she only takes 11 instead of the 22 poison damage.
Sick.
Worth it.
Totally worth.
And I think that this guy, he's not having any of this, and he's just gone.
Bye.
See?
Yeah.
He's just one of my favorite spells.
He's just gone. He's like, no, she's gone batshit. She's on the deep end. I'm out. Like this is not a fight we can win anymore.
This does not end well.
Yeah, and so this lady stands up, and she's still in this fight. I think she's still like full health and everything. So I think she is going to. Aelin, you've stepped into the roadway, right? Like you're present.
I mean, I didn't say I did. but-
Yeah. So, I think that. Good one. Yeah.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Spirit Guardian ends as well.
Oh, good point. Aelin. You can see her eyes glass over again, and she starts muttering under her breath, but this time a finger is pointed at you, and from the very tip you see a long tendril of black, like, kind of, it almost looks like a vine, kind of spools out, and then shoots out at your direction and hits you, before you can even react, and I need you to make me wisdom saving throw.
Oh.
Great. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so you're able to repel the effects of the curse that she tried to cast on you. So what helps you repel that?
The light of Shalia, obviously. So just moments ago, my deity was literally at my back.
Yeah.
Speaking words of wisdom, as it were.
She comes in
And so
again.
I think I am just unafraid.
Yeah.
And I just repel it with my holy light.
Yeah, and as her eyes kind of snap back, she sees it hasn't worked, but instead of like that look of what the fuck, her eyes just kind of narrow. And I think that what she'll try and do is she tries to go down a side alley, but Jericho, you have some overgrowth here that may prevent her from getting out, sprinting away. So is the DC 17 to get through it, or is it something separate?
What? There's no DC.
Is it just difficult
takes
terrain?
Quadruple.
Oh, quadruple. Right, yeah. So Aelin, you see her turn to go run away, and what she hadn't realized is vines had snaked up around her legs while she was like doing her weird standstill hex thing. And she goes to move, and she's stuck, and she's got to like break the vines out. And I think that by the end of her movement, you can still see her like her cloak and her back, like trying to fight through down a corner. So she's still well within striking distance. Which makes it Jericho. Oh, you know who I didn't roll for? Okay. So, I won't roll for all the villagers, but I would say that 3 of them probably fail. I rolled a 16. 3 out of the 10 fail. And they're coughing. That's actually not enough damage to even just kill them outright, but they're probably like on the ground wheezing and like vomiting at this point. And the others are like, they're trying to hold up their hands to their noses and they're realizing it's not working, so they're like kind of confused and flailing about, trying to like move out of it maybe. The others are still okay at this point. But it is your turn, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna have to go. So he will burn an equivalent spell slot and...
Yeah. So, you want to burn a 5th level there?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and you what does it look like when you dispel the cloud kill?
I think his he does the same sort of gesture that you get from a conductor who's like silencing the entire orchestra at once. It's that twist and flat sort of slashing motion with his hands, and the cloud just falls to the ground. I mean, it's already low, but yeah, just falls, spreads, and disintegrates away.
Yeah, and I think it reveals like the maniacal face of this halfling standing atop the barricade you've set up, and like you can see like the big bug-eyed bloodshot eyes. Like she's enraged. She's not giving up for anything.
She's badly outnumbered. Okay.
I don't think she cares. Killed her pet, man. She loved that thing.
That was not a legitimate pet.
I mean, they curb stomped her pet, to be fair.
To be fair, there's like 1,000 pieces on the ground.
True.
Anything else for you, Jericho?
I can't imagine what. No, he's going to continue holding his post. Maybe glance back if he can see anything about how they're doing with the ritual, but other than that, he's just gonna hold where he is.
So we come to Avatar, and he's sitting there, kind of panting heavily, and his eyes are locked on yours, Hannibal. What do you say to him?
Come, meet your end.
Yeah, and I think for a moment he. At least we will go down together! And he like charges, and his sword strikes out at you. I'll roll them separately, so that you can use your thing when appropriate. So his sword strikes. A hit.
I let that hit me. I don't do anything.
Yeah, so it just like it pierces your side or whatever. Or do you like catch it in your hand and it's like slices deep into your hand and then you do the thing?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I grab the sword and then I just let it envelop the sword. It's boom.
Well, the good news is he's weak to that. Otherwise, that could have been awkward. So yeah. Even if I actually pass that, he's still dead.
So this flame is a little bit different than what's normally happens.
Yeah, explain it for us. Explain how you end the Avatar of Zinch.
A flame of bright green erupts from the wound and envelops him. And as he burns, he screams. You hear Hannibal yell, "Feel the pain I felt. Feel my God's flames." Feel my suffering. And then as he begins to burn, I walk forward. And is he near the edge?
Yeah, so I think that as he's like enveloped in this flame, he's dying. Like you hear Morella and Kira Malia, you probably like you're watching this with wide eyes and you see the dome, it begins to crack. And I think that as you like envelop and you're like pushing it back and he's like trying to get away from you and stumbling over and he reaches the edge right as the dome cracks and he's at the edge of the bridge.
At that point, I just throw the sword up as he begins to lose balance and fall over and I say, "Zench is waiting for you."
Yeah, and I think that we see the shot from like off in the distance along the chasm. We see the green like fireball and flaming like the ice rapidly being melted, so it's kind of like almost raining around the fireball as it descends into the pit and disappears from vision. And for a moment, tranquility is set on the bridge in the north, and the Avatar has been slain.
Man, my hand really hurts.
Appropriately for Hannibal.
Mm-hmm.
So, we head to Aelin to perhaps finish off this. Well, it's Aelin, so maybe not Aelin to finish this off. But...
That's a good one. So yeah, could I play a character
Savage of us all.
attacks ever? No, I think that
not ever.
True. When I am aware of myself and my being. Anywho, I think that same light that just protected Aelin, she's going to harness and attempt to blind these two savage individuals in front of her.
Yeah.
So they need to make a DC 15 con save.
Con save. I think con is one of their significant weaknesses here.
Let's hope.
Well, I mean, it's not as bad as strength, but still not great. So for the crazy halfling, fails. It's 15, you said, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And for the one attempting to escape, also fails. They are blinded by your glorious light, Aelin.
Fantastic. And then I think Aelin starts to walk up and position herself in between the crazies and the villagers.
Yeah, so like you walk up and maybe you like step over the barricade and like position herself in between the crazy. She's like shouting and screaming and like trying to figure out what's going on, and yeah.
I very just casually walk in front of her.
Farron, I assume over there you're going to take the bridge, start opening it up. Not to ruin the climactic moment, but is there a conversation between Farron? Because this is the first time you've seen Kree in like weeks. Remember?
Yeah. Hey, so how you been doing, you old bastard?
Get the gate open!
Kree's like, Farron, are you like kind of like one arm pushing the pole, and Kree's like, ooh, like trying to push it with all of his might.
Yeah, of course.
So appropriate.
Amazing. I mean, I don't think we need anything else. I think that's perfect. I think that's exactly what
Wonderful.
happens. Anything else from Noct? Besides,
What?
I said besides destroying stuff.
Oh, yes. Obviously hearing Kree's shout for help from Farron that was not complied to, he's going to rumble into the gatehouse and try and help out as well.
Yeah, so like we hear a crumbling, the crushing. Farron, do you greet Noct as he enters?
Hey there, boy.
Yeah, you like pat his head as he comes over, and
yeah, still just
Nuzzles.
using one arm to help.
yeah, no, Kree. I think like Noct like starts nuzzling and like saying hello to Farron, and you're like, like trying to push the gate open.
What are you doing? Help! Get the gate open!
Yeah, and
I am, can't you see?
yeah, and
Just casually-
Farron, you see the intelligence in Noct's eyes, and you're pretty sure he rolled them. Like you're like 90% sure that Noct rolled his eyes. But he puts his head down and begins pushing, and the wheel begins to turn, and the gate begins to rise. And I think that like the lizardmen start to like crawl underneath it, and like they're getting through the gate, and now there's fighting on the inside of the gate as well, and everything's going all hunky-dory over there. So I wanna actually break this down and get this back to where we need to be. So I want to jump over to
Dane.
well, no, I want to jump over to the NPC turn. So is Daniela gonna run up and like cleave the head off this crazed
100%.
necromancer? Okay, yeah, let's see that. I think first and foremost. Yeah, I mean you have advantage because she's blinded, so.
Yep.
15. Oh god, yeah, she's. I actually think that's exactly what happens. Is Daniela just like kind of calmly walks up and says, "May Shalia have mercy on your soul," and just head rolls and just like plops into the water. And I think the body like is still like raging, and then just like stiffens slowly and topples over, giving a soft plop into the like receding water that was there. Which brings us to this girl's turn. She doesn't have Dimension Door prepped. She's got other spells available to her, so
Does the mob get her as well?
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, the mob actually gets to go. Is the mob gonna run over there and beat her up?
Mob, of course.
I mean, whether they are going to like outright murder her or not is kind of up to the animal instincts of the mob.
Well,
but
do you want to shout to them not to kill her? Like that's totally a thing you could do in this instance. Being
that's a fair point.
more
Yeah.
narrative.
Admittedly, Jericho's less aware of her.
Yeah, so maybe Aelin, maybe
I
you
was
see
just
the
gonna
mob
say,
like go
yeah.
running over there with like their clubs raised.
I think I just hold up a hand, like a very so I'm in front of them all, right?
Yeah, totally.
And I think I just hold up a calm hand and just start slowly walking forward towards her and hope they like very calmly follow me towards her.
Yeah. So I think that maybe we don't even need initiative anymore. And I think that as you approach, you see she's actually just like sitting on the ground, and her legs have been like kind of entangled in vines. She realized being blinded and trying to get through this was not gonna happen. So she's probably just sitting there kind of in like cross-legged with her hands folded in her lap, and her head kind of down and just waiting for you to approach.
Yeah, so I think I just kind of kneel down, and as the crowd kind of, I would imagine, kind of encircles her, like in a very odd, kind of eerie situation. I think Aelin clears her eyes, like unblinds her.
Yeah. And then like, for a moment you see there's like blinking and adjusting, and she looks up at you, and I think, Aelin, you can see immediately that there is no fear in her eyes.
I mean, Aelin's certainly not trying to intimidate her, so she
is surrounded by
okay with her.
by like 7 mobbies, right? The other 3 are probably still hacking up lungs because they almost died to poison.
Yeah, so I think now that she's like at eye level with her, I think she would just say, "Shalia is having mercy upon you this day. Go. We shall let you free. But no, it will be over soon."
Yeah, and I think
she moves her hand to like let the mob part so that she has a chance to stand and walk off.
Yeah, I think she kind of cocks her head to the side, and she seems not to understand at first. And then she clearly asks a question, but it's in a language you don't recognize. But it sounds, and you've heard the language before, it sounds like it might be some form of Elven, perhaps. And she asks a question, and then she like kind of evaluates the situation, and she stands up, and as she does, like the vines are still like kind of gripping onto her, and she kind of looks down at them and then looks at you. And Jericho, you could like approach at this moment, I assume. Or maybe not. Maybe you're still on the lookout.
Out of curiosity, he probably would. Obviously, anything that we expect to see is going to be coming from this way. So,
if you see Aelin lead an angry mob down an alleyway, would you not follow?
I mean, that does seem weird, but
yeah,
I don't want to tell her how to live her life.
Right, totally.
I think he would approach at least to see what's going on.
Yeah, and so like looks down and then asks a question. Now you can understand what she says. And she says, "Will you cut me free?" But it's in Elvish.
Right.
And you can kind of evaluate the situation of like Aelin was like, leave, cause us no more harm.
Lady Ash River, as much as I appreciate the philosophy of forgiveness that seems to be your whole thing, this is maybe not the best time to just let people wander away to announce what our plans have been. The lives of the people on the bridge, for example, might depend on it.
You're saying this in
to Aelin
in comment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We might, at the very least, want to detain our guest a while longer. Obviously, if she's not intending to do us any harm, that's not any problem for any of us, I assume. Eyes to Daniela.
Daniela's probably just like calmly cleaning off her sword. Right? Like, there's no emotion there. Actually, she's probably sad. There's probably sadness in Daniela's movements.
Oh.
And as all this sadness goes on, you hear a slight scream from the west end.
And you hear a da 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 da.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Yeah, so I mean, Aelin hears you, but she's made her decision. And so I think she says this is the exact moment for mercy. And she, assuming she got enough of a gist of what she was saying with her looking down at the vines, I think she would motion to one of the mobs who has a sword of some sort.
Yeah, they probably have like a
cut
knife,
through-
a butcher's knife or something
yeah,
that they can
they
like.
cut through the vines.
Yeah, so they kind of cut him, and you see like she kind of like massages her leg, and she kind of like looks up at the group of you, and she does that thing where she kind of like backs up because she doesn't want to turn her back on you, but also she just.
Well,
Do you
if
stop
I
her, Jericho?
can interrupt,
Yeah.
probably, yeah. The kind of Elvish that she speaks, is it in any way weird dialect, or is it standard Elvish?
It seems very akin to the type of Elvish you know, which is not standard.
Okay.
And remember, as I described her, she appears to be pretty human.
Yeah.
But also sometimes,
I
as
think,
you know, it can be hard to tell.
Yeah. I think in Elvish, Jericho will say to her, under the circumstances, you may actually find that it's safest to remain with us rather than go anywhere else in the city for now.
Yeah, and I think she looks at you and addresses you for the first time and says, "You speak the tongue. You are a local? From here."
Oh, very much so.
I think, yeah, for a moment she just kind of like
recognize you.
blankly evaluates you and she says, "You are older than I am, at least."
Not that old, but looking at her closely, can Jericho judge her age?
She looks to be in her late teens, maybe.
Oh boy.
She's maybe like 18 or 19.
Did I give Jericho an age? Okay, yeah.
Also, her complexion is far lighter than yours. Far lighter than yours.
Well, I think at this point Jericho has realized that he gets all of the brown in his skin from his human side.
Aelin's
She
just
hasn't really
looking
asked a
back
question
at
though, apart from she hasn't
back
really
and
asked a
forth
question
between the two
apart
of you.
from you're a local here, right?
Yeah. She's like, "You're a local here. Like you speak the tongue, right?" Like that's what she says.
Yes, I do. It's been an interesting journey of discovery for me as well. We could talk about that more if you wanted to stay. We are a bit busy right now, but if you're willing to stay with us and maybe off to one side a bit, we can chat about things, pass the time. Then the army will be marching through.
Yeah, and I think she gives you like a little nod and she says, "Hey, Marina, daughter of Hovalin the Wise. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance."
Jericho Tannheiser, favorite son of Middenheim.
Have no father.
Well, I mean, presumably at some point.
I understand. Take me to wherever you will hold me. It is far safer than the roving bands now that you have dealt with my pets.
Right. I think, well, I can't really leave here, so I think maybe if you just stand off to one side, maybe over on this side of the barricades, and, stay quiet, we shouldn't have any problems, should we?
I have grown up in this city. I know how to remain quiet.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I think she just like, Aelin, I think after this brief like exchange between them in Elvish, she just like sits down again, seemingly content with whatever the conversation was.
She's agreed to stay with us for a bit. Didn't realize what a kid she was.
Brilliant. And I think Aelin just turns and starts aiding whomever was just like super poisoned.
Yeah, there's still like the three resistance members that are like, they're probably like lying in the recovery position, like breathing heavy, like
Yeah.
They're gonna need some attention for sure. They took all but like 5 of their life points in damage, so yeah, no, they're pretty super dead. So I want to talk about Hannibal and Morella real quick. Yep. So this your fight is concluded, and kind of the wave of what's happening washes back over you. And Morella, you're the first one to notice, because Hannibal, you're probably lost in a little bit of thought. Accomplishment, yeah. Something, certainly. The greenish like haze is still rising over the end of the bridge where you blew it up. And so what that's doing is it's preventing like any vision of the host that's beyond it. But Morella, you can hear, and you're injured, you're kind of beat up. You can hear like fighting in the distance in the district, like directly behind you. It's probably resistance members. But I don't know if you feel like you're in shape to go fight through the streets of Middenheim right now.
Wow. Jordan, here's the thing.
Yeah. Would you not care and just go fight through the streets of Middenheim anyway?
No, it's more of this. What else can she do?
I mean,
she can't teleport. Hannibal's out of spells.
No, I'm not.
Well, I think like the deal here is getting Hannibal to a safe place probably seems like a great idea too, right? Like, I'm sure that the group of you had made arrangements like, when your task is complete, we should try and meet up with wherever the army has come in, be it the west gate, be it the east gate. Maybe the point was to meet up at the east gate, right? Because that's where like there was going to be the least amount of resistance.
I'm going to need you guys to carry me while I take a short rest on your backs.
Yeah, Morella just, fireman carries you. Over the shoulder. Well, more of like Amazoning carry.
Unfortunately, Hannibal, it does not count as a short rest for you.
Too bad. I'm going to sleep anyway.
I mean, you can fall asleep. That's fine. I don't care what you do narratively.
Okay, Morella, I just want you to know your shoulder's really comfy. And this is happening.
Obviously, I'm going to. Just go to sleep now.
Yeah, so like you pick up Hannibal and start carrying him, and I think Kira and Malia like flank you to like protect you. And are you headed to the east gate, or are you headed to the west? You know that there's probably still fighting going on at the west gate, right?
Yeah,
like
it's essentially she's going to do her best to avoid.
Yeah.
But if she runs into something, well, shit, she ran into something. Big she's gonna kill it anyways.
Yeah, why don't you roll me? God, I don't think this is even a stealth thing. I think this is a survival thing. So why don't you roll me survival? But you have advantage because Kira and Malia are assisting you with this.
God damn it.
Obviously, Hannibal can't roll because he's like unconscious from literally the ending of his character arc, kind of.
I literally just accomplished my goal.
All right, here we go. Holy shit, snacks!
See, you just got to believe, man. Just got to believe. Yeah, so I think that you're navigating through, and Kira and Malia, I think, like I know Morella respected their ability before. But these two are accomplished. It doesn't matter what terrain they're in, what situation they're in. They're always cool, calm, and collected. And I think that, like, they're leapfrogging, right? Like, one will stay behind, and then one will, like, go off, clear a path, and then the other one will leapfrog ahead and clear a path. And you don't meet anybody on your way to the east gate. So why don't we move all of you guys down there? So then I want to catch up with the other two knuckleheads real quick.
Make that 3.
/3 because Noct is also there. I almost forgot.
Yes.
He's not a knucklehead. He's the brains.
He's
with the biggest knucklehead.
He's a beautiful creature. So the gate has been opened. You guys were able to do that, but I think I am gonna require a couple of rolls from you because you guys are actually trying to secure the gate, like secure the actual outpost here. So explain to me, from the two of you, Farron, we'll start with you, how you go about kind of securing the outpost with Kree. What actions do you take? Like, you get the gate open, like, obviously there's fighting to be done, so, like, if you want to just say, like, we're gonna start fighting, that's totally cool, too. But, like, there's also other preparations you can start to make to get a foothold, right, in the city. Because I think that you all were successful enough that you can achieve that goal, but it's all about how long you're going to be able to hold it against a true onslaught here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just a bard. Unless...
I'm just a bard.
Unless you're asking for a astounding performance to increase the morale of all of the...
Yeah, you could do something like that. I mean, if you have spell slots left, you could, like, use... This is where you can kind of do the thing that Aelin and Jericho got to do, where, like, narratively, if there's a cool spell that you can manipulate the rules a little bit to make it affect the whole outcome, feel free.
That's funny.
Maybe we'll start with Kree.
Yeah.
Kree.
Yeah, please do.
How do you lead the rest of your troops to finish your mission here, securing the foothold?
So a really large point is, I mean, the lizardmen and their cavalry, they're climbing the walls. That's what they do.
Right.
And they're running down all of these archers on these walls, making sure there's none of them left. Like, that is their goal. While the bearmen just stampede through the now open gate.
Yeah, I think that's the point, right? Is the bear riders weren't really in the fight until now. And now that they actually can file in and dump in, they can certainly begin taking over some of this area. And I mean, Arkady could tell you best, but the Bear Riders are probably the most feared cavalry in all of the old world. Because even beyond the capability of the Lizardmen and the Cold Ones, their mounts are probably scarier than the warriors, and the warriors are probably scarier than most other warriors. Because they're literally giant, like, grizzly and larger black bears that they're riding into battle on.
Polar bears.
And polar bears, correct. Yep, all three bears live in the same general vicinity.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's a thing.
Question.
But their goal is to rampage down
no questions.
open streets and set up like spiked roadblocks. You know how you always see those, like, set those up and have sort of this, like, area as our base.
Cool,
so the blocks are set.
That's great. That's a great way to put it, Arkady. Is like to fight avalanche that hates you. Correct. That is correct. So you want to secure just the immediate area around, and you're directing the bear riders to kind of position themselves, and the cool thing about the bears too is they can actually like they're higher intelligence than your typical average horses, and even the cold ones typically are not that intelligent at all. But the bears, on the other hand, are able to, like, be directed and, like, move, like, knock over houses and, like, move these wooden barricades into place. Cool. So why don't you roll me a performance check? Now, Farron can assist you with this, but it is your performance check, I think. So if you want to roll with advantage.
Sure. Thank God.
No.
The advantage.
Oh, wow. So, Farron, how do you...
advantage, correct?
Farron, explain to me how you assist him with this.
So, I feel that Kree, just whilst in this half bloodlust that he just pursued, isn't kind of giving the best orders, and it's more just like grunts and shouts. So I'm using that energy and directing it into actual orders that he would actually want.
Still very tired from all the self-pushing of
Yeah, so it's very reminiscent of when you had to follow Morella around that one time when she was making all those like charisma-based leadership checks. Like you probably have a little bit of PTSD from that, Farron, and you're just like, oh god, not again, fuck. But I think also how you help here, Farron, is you're also from Kislev. Like you could actually communicate with these people in their tongue, right? Like I think that is even greater help because Cree not only is Common not his first language, but it may not even be a second language.
I just revert to my guttural roars.
Yeah. So you're translating from like 2 steps away into Kislev so that the Bear Riders actually know like what needs to be done and what needs to happen here.
Yes.
So there you go. But a 19 is great, so I think you're gonna I think definitely I'm gonna put a little line here. I don't think you have full securing of the Westgate Suitgarten district, but I think
real question is, do we have this?
Yeah, sure, you can have that.
Big open town square.
We've at least secured the actual gate itself and immediate surrounding area.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
That's a good point, Megan.
Not the Riders, just the Bears.
Just the Bears, yeah. Kree's directing the Bears. Farron's directing the Riders. That's how this teamwork happens.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Farron, what is your contribution besides translating to the securing of the Westgate?
Yeah, I think after I've given the orders, I mean, how long would you say that would take?
So there's still a lot of like pushing back, and I think like the big thing is this is all having to be done quickly because you've only encountered the guard. You haven't actually encountered any actual resistance yet because they're probably dealing with a whole bunch of other shit going on. But once they formulate and get a plan and actually march on you, that's going to be when the problem happens. But that probably won't be for like, another couple of hours or maybe the next day even before they can regroup from that. The advantage that they have here that you are currently unaware of is the fact that the South Gate went well for them. So I think that there's definitely going to be some resistance in the near future. But for now, it is kind of up to you to influence how you think would be influenced.
Yeah, I think in this moment I would become more of a scout to aid the other parties.
Okay, yeah.
So
do you have invisibility?
I don't need invisibility.
Ah, okay. And why do you not need invisibility?
Because I can duck into alleys and just disappear.
So you would like to make would you like to make a I don't know. I think your stealth is fine enough that you would pass this. I think it's more like how well you're gathering information here.
Yeah.
So how about an how about investigation though? I think.
Fine. Well, then I'm definitely feeling inspired in this.
You should feel inspired in this.
Yeah, you love giving me investigation rolls.
I do. It's so much more appropriate than perception in almost all instances. See?
I actually made an investigation
roll.
Look,
all of you are so scared of your rolls today, man. So scared of them.
Look, you just happen to pick a lot of our words for us, so we get super scared.
God damn it, dude! Stop texting me.
So, Farron, you scout astutely, and I think that you are probably a big contribution as to why you're able to push so far into the city so quickly, and obtain like this building and some more of the surrounding areas. And you kind of have, I think, also what this investigation gives you is you kind of have the avenues of approach now as well. The paths that assault can come from are much more clear in your mind, so you'll be better defended against them, in the future.
Brilliant.
Cool. Awesome. So, Kree and Farron. Well, Kree, most importantly, I think you were given instruction that, regardless of how the battle went, you were to signal. One of the casters would send like sparks into the air, probably green or red, right, depending on how the battle went. Right? Yeah, like send fireworks into the air. And so I think that we see the caster like raises their hand to the sky and shoots like green sparks into the air because you've succeeded in your goal. And I think that while that's happening, over in the East Gate, the clerics are gathered together and they're chanting and humming, and those of you with divine magics can feel it kind of drumming up and drilling and kind of tapping into your soul almost. And it's just like it's like a low rumble from a machine. What it sounds like if you're standing too close to it. You can feel that kind of rumble in your chest and that kind of anxiety or, you know, that excitement. And I think that we hear this cracking, and stones begin to rise and float in the air, and we see this bright white light. And we hear this boom, boom, boom of almost like war drums pounding one after another, but loud enough, and it kind of echoes out over the city. And I think that we see in different spots around the city, we see people like looking up in the direction, and we see the light begin to illuminate, and it's a giant wolf head that is bedecked in this armor that kind of falls over its snout and falls around its ears, and it's a giant, basically white, you know, kind of a pearlescent light in the sky. And it, as it gazes down, it looks around the city, and we just hear one single long mournful howl. And the bridge comes up and is built again. The power that the clerics told you was far greater than even they assumed. And Jericho, as you kind of like finish covering your eyes from the light, you gaze over the bridge, and you can see it with kind of that shimmer and sparkle, that like a freshly built construction. And you believe it in your heart, Jericho, that this bridge will never again fall. And we see, poking their heads out from the other side, we see the scouts and the swift warriors of Cahill's army, and they begin to march towards the bridge. And as they reach it, there's a pause as they look, and they're kind of hesitant to like step out onto it because it looks so different and bright and shining from its perspective. And finally they kind of look at each other, and they step onto it, and it supports their weight, and then they begin funneling onto the bridge and crossing it. And there's resounding cheers and hurrahs, and Kira, Malia, Morella, and Hannibal, you all like arrive, and Aelin, I think you see Morella's like carrying Hannibal, and Morella's like limping, and like they're all fucked up. Kira, Malia, Hannibal, and Morella, they're all just jacked up. So I assume you rush over there to assist them.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And you find Hannibal asleep.
Yeah, and I think that as you rush over there, Morella, you see as you're gazing southward, at the south gate, you see sparks fly into the air, and they are red. And like maybe Aelin, maybe you see it in Morella's face, like kind of, I assume your face kind of hardens, Morella, at that sight, more than likely. And Aelin, you turn and you look, and you see that the push on the South Bridge was a failure. And you know that's where Cahill is, and that he was leading that charge.
The single anime tear.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It like drips down your face in a single line.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that with great victory and also great loss is the perfect place to end for them.
Yeah.
Do we level up?
Not
Experience?
yet.
I
Not yet.
defeated a demigod.
But
Soon.
but we do need to pass out some inspiration. So the party may vote on. I'm actually gonna give you guys 2 votes. You guys get 2 votes, and I'll give out 1. How's that sound?
Okay.
So who does the party think deserves inspiration?
Immediately Hannibal. He deserves 1. Regardless, I don't fucking care who else says anything. Hannibal's gonna get 1. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So
Does everybody agree with that? I think.
I'm for it. Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Hannibal, congratulations on your inspiration.
Okay, and the other one goes to Dane, right?
I mean,
I 100% would give Dane. I'm not gonna lie.
Very true.
I thought that's why we gave it to Hannibal.
Lol.
Hannibal, how
Can
about
we
this?
give it?
You can use your inspiration for Dane next game if you wanted to.
Yes.
That's something to literally consider, considering how well it worked out.
Yeah.
Can he use that inspiration to give someone else disadvantage on their save against Dane's poison?
Absolutely, sure. 100%. That's
Beautiful.
totally fine. If
The
you want to
only way
use,
that could have been better would have been if you had actually like knocked the god out.
oh my God.
That was literally impossible.
I like how Dane hit the only 2 times he attacked, and then like actually did something significant in that fight. Like, could you imagine, Marilla, if you had or Kira Malia had taken all those attacks without disadvantage? Good God.
Corpses everywhere.
Yeah, it would have been corpses probably.
it would have made me have to burn a lot more shit. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, for sure. Who else? Who else do you think you guys gets inspiration here?
Oh man. There's
I'm kind of
Alan
for
with her
Farron.
mercy.
That was good. I'm really torn on whether I can pick one between Kree and Farron.
Can I vote
I
for
already have
Cahill?
inspiration.
Because I think. Can I vote for Cahill?
No,
'Cause
Farron doesn't deserve it. He went Harambe, and that's what we needed. So he's just out of the picture.
I mean, if Kree already has it, it makes sense then to if you guys wanted to vote Farron.
I vote
Yes,
Farron because
guys.
I was so savage to him earlier today.
I know.
Oh my God.
inspiration, really?
Wow.
Guys, hold on.
The pity inspiration.
I think that we're forgetting somebody who really needs it.
Knocked?
Cahill.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna need it, certainly.
Oh, he's not dead yet.
Yeah.
We don't even know if he's alive or dead.
Correct,
I
yeah,
think
none-
we ran away from him.
Yeah. We see Aelin magically find a horse and gallop on the wrong way on the bridge to go.
Shadowfax. Remember,
Yeah.
I have Shadowfax.
True. So I think the votes are for Farron, even though it was for pity. I think you did great, Farron, personally.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
I
No
vote
problem.
We'll
for
just give it-
legitimate.
It is a rare day when I'm the least savage to Will, to be fair.
I
So
know.
What
It's-
I mean,
How am
your
I getting
roles,
painted with the same
your
brush
roles
as everybody
know
else?
otherwise.
I am
Jordan.
nothing but kind.
I think I'm going to give mine to Jericho. And the reason for that is the use of like distracting tactics and the coordination of the battle plan. That could have gone way worse. I mean, those were 3 pretty high level casters you were up against. But I think due to Jericho's leadership and coordination in that moment of luring them in closer, and then the simultaneous attack and the awesome deception rolls, and the realization that like, okay, this is, we've gone far enough with this. The fuck it moment.
I'm really looking forward to running into that necromancer again, just to be like, why doesn't anybody know who you are? Are you overcompensating? Are you much less impressive than I thought?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you just wear the cloak because you hope it'll make you look interesting?
Hey, that's why I wear the mask.
Yeah, he's very he's very in the shadows. He doesn't expose himself to many people at all.
Yeah, I've learned that, which means that next week, when I'm running around giving fake orders to the enemy to throw them into chaos, or rather disarray. Chaos is where they're starting. I'm obviously going to have to impersonate Anders instead.
Yeah. Yep. That would be interesting to see. Certainly. Well, cool. That's all I got for you guys.
Just make sure it's not so good that Morella kills you.
Correct. Yeah, ensure that. We're a little battered after today's session. I don't think this day is quite up. I think there's some last minute touches we got to put on it before we can begin the recovery process right away, and then we'll get into the body of the campaign, or the body of this thing, which is going to be taking these zones. Couple of day based on your tactics and knowledge and rolls, and I think it'll be pretty swell. Or a couple of sessions, I should say. You guys have a great start. You've blocked off the reinforcements from the north, at least most of them. You have a bridge, a free entrance to the east. You've secured the west gate, and south gate has some issues, but maybe we have a character that can deal with that in some way.
Yo.
No.
Yo.
Incorrect.
It's either me or Megan. It's one of those two.
Also incorrect.
It is
All right.
totally me.
All right. Well.
But I'm gonna do outro. Thank you all for showing up. Glad y'all could be here. We'll see y'all next week. Yeah.
Indeed, quite.
See
Looking
ya.
forward to it. Bye.
Spectacular.
Bye guys. Bye stream. You're the best.
Fuck off.
All right, guys. Glad you all could be here. It's been a really, really great show. Also, Stormblazer nailed it. That character. No spoilers on YouTube. That character is the one. I like how you remember my visions that I gave all of the players to be super cool better than the actual players themselves. I appreciate that. But anyway, glad you all could be here. It's been a grand old time. This was episode 2 of the Siege of Middenheim. Episode 3 will be coming out next. Hope you all will still be here to watch it. And from all of us to you, may you always pass your saving throws. May you always win the athletics contest. And if you have a familiar or a pet, may they always outshine you in combat. Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you next time.